You're listening to a 58 Ember production.
Hey, welcome to Wellmade. My name is Kat Kamalani. Here we dive deep into topics like wellness, food, money, relationships, motherhood, and achieving your wildest dreams. Because I promise, if I can do it, I know you can too. We sit with experts and get into the nitty-gritty where they spill all their secrets with me. So get cozy, relax, and let's have a heart-to-heart chat. Welcome back to Wellmade, a solo episode with yours truly, Kat Kamalani. I asked on my Instagram what some things that you guys wanted to know, and a big majority of you guys wanted to talk about relationships, boundaries, and overall happiness. If you've been following me for a while, you have probably seen the evolution on my page of me genuinely just being happier in my life. And I have to attribute that to lots of self-work, lots of therapy, and lots of just reading books and diving in on my life of what's bringing me happiness, what's serving me, what's not serving me. And you guys, it's taken a lot. It's taken so much. But I don't want this to be mistaken with that I'm always happy and that I'm always having this like perfect life, because that couldn't be furthest from the truth. There is so much that goes into just genuinely being content and happy with your life versus waking up, I hate my life. I hate what I'm doing. I hate my job, the relationships. And for me, I feel like I have cracked that code of finding a perfect balance in my life. Anyway, I'm going to read the questions that you guys asked. So let's dive in. So the first question was asked is, how do you tolerate family? Ooh, this is a good one. How do I tolerate family? Well, if I'm being completely blunt, I don't tolerate people and I don't tolerate family. If you are going to be in my life, you are adding value into my life. Like you are just the cherry on top. And this goes for everyone. It goes for my husband, my family, my friends, every single person that is in my life, I am not tolerating, but they add value. And the reason being is for this, is life is so dang short. I'm not going to sit and walk into rooms where I feel like I'm tolerating people and feeling those icky feelings. And let me make one thing clear. Just because you share the same DNA with somebody does not make them family. It makes them relatives. Someone who is family may not share the same DNA as you, but those are people who have your back, who love you unconditionally with no conditions, and who actually care for you and your well-being. So when I walk into a room and I feel like I'm tolerating people, to me, that is not family and that's not real friendships. And so I don't deal with them. I simply don't be around them. Okay, the next question is, you talk a lot of how to set boundaries. I don't even know where to start with this. All right, I want to make one thing clear. When you are setting boundaries, you are the bad guy. People who set boundaries are not the good guy. You have to come with terms that you will be the bad guy in somebody else's narrative and be okay with being the bad guy. And setting boundaries is actually a really tricky thing. One, I don't think every boundary needs to have this sit down chat that goes super in details, but it could just be boundaries with yourself, knowing that if something is going to be happening somewhere, then you're not going to go because you're setting boundaries with yourself. If you are around people who you feel like you consistently have to walk on eggshells with, you're setting that boundary that you're just not going to be around that person. But if you care about that person, like for example, let's say it's my mother. I love my mom. She's my best friend. I would do anything for that woman. And if something is happening in our relationship where I care about that person, I care about that relationship, I want them in my life, and something is consistently happening, I don't expect other people to be able to read my mind and know what is bugging me or something that's making me uncomfortable. So in that moment, yes, I will sit down and do a boundary. But I have to talk about cutting people out of your life after you set boundaries. There has been family in my life that I have had to cut out of my life and make the decision that either A, I no longer see them, there's no more contact, but B is if we are in the same room, it's just a cordial, we don't talk outside of Sunday dinner or family events. Cutting people out of your life, especially family, and it can be friends too, is painful. And no one talks about when holidays come around that you don't have a relationship with that person and you're not spending that time with them, or when birthdays happen that you don't think about their presence, or how awkward it is when someone asks you how your family member's doing and what they're up to because you don't necessarily have an answer for them. And I always say it's harder to cut somebody out of your life than to keep them in your life, because the saying of, oh, they're your mom, or oh, they're your dad, or oh, they're your sister-in-law, or oh, they're your brother-in-law or sibling, or whatever it may be, just because someone is blood does not mean they can treat you however they want to and continue to be in your life. And so for me, taking a break from those family members and cutting them out of my life and not having a daily occurrence with them, it is a clean break for me and my husband and my family that has brought in so much happiness in my life that I am not consuming over this one person of if I'm offending them or if they're offending me. And it's just the relationship didn't work and you're kindly letting it go without anger. The next question that was asked is, you look so happy now. How did you get there? All right. There was this one huge mental shift in my life. And this is where I genuinely feel that a lot of my happiness came from. One is cutting people out of my life that no longer serve me, or that when I'm around, I feel like I am on pins and needles. Two, the next thing is cutting out the thought process. If I have this, then I'll be happy. If I get this job, then I will be happy. If I get this amount of money, if I live in this place, if I marry this person, get this guy, get this girl, get this dream job, get this school. If I get this, then I will be happy. I had to cut that out of my life, because if I'm always waiting for the next step, I will never be happy. I realize that I just need to find the happiness and the joys in my life today, what I'm doing. And your brain is smart. Your brain knows that if you're sitting here saying, waking up and being like, I'm grateful for my life, it knows that you're lying and it's not going to work. What it started with for me is that I was finding gratitude in daily tasks. It was simply waking up and being grateful. I'm awake. I'm opening my eyeballs. I'm here and I'm grateful. My body. I am so grateful for my body that I'm being able to walk around, work out, take care of my kids, be with my husband. It was starting with gratitude of what I am thankful for in day-to-day tasks, and then transpiring that into happiness really made me feel that I transformed the way I was looking at life and how I was looking at my relationship, how I was looking at my relationships and my overall happiness. The next question is, I'm having the hardest time being around a friend right now that is going through a hard time. She's an energy drainer and I feel like I'm her punching bag and I do not know what to do. Okay, I'm sorry, but I am so done with people saying they're going through a hard time. You need to give them a break. No, do you want to know something? I'm going through a hard time and I don't treat people like crap. Everybody has something to worry about. Everybody is stressing about something. Everyone goes through something. That you can be going through a hard time, but it does not mean that you get to treat other people like crap. It doesn't. I'm sorry. I'm going to be a little personal with you guys. There was a time through the holidays that I was having some turmoil with some family members. I was experiencing something that was very difficult and I was very hurt. And it was a hard time in my life because it wasn't just affecting me, but it was hurting my children. And that's where it was Mama Bear coming out. And when Mama Bear comes out, it's like you no longer care how you feel and your actions. It's when it's about your kids. And it was hard. And it was all through the holidays where it was feeling dark and dreary. And it was this dark cloud over me. And it was not only affecting my kids, but it was affecting a lot of people in my family. And there was nothing I could do to fix it and move forward. I was trying everything I could to get this in the past and move forward. But simply when it came down to it, I don't control other people. I don't control them. But the thing that I was saying is that I had people saying, oh, but this person is going through a hard time and they're experiencing troubles within their marriage, or they're having money issues, or they're having identity crisis or this or that. Like you need to give them a pass and realize they're going through a hard time. But let me tell you, just because someone's going through a hard time does not mean that they can be unkind to other people. So during this time when I was experiencing this really dark place is that I realized I was on edge. I wasn't the happiest that I was always been. And when I was around certain people, I wouldn't talk about the situation, but you could just tell I was a little off. But was I being unkind to other people? Was I bringing other people down? Was I being rude? No, I just was on edge. And after that time passed, I healed from it. I moved on. It's over and done with. It's in my past. I went to the people that was most important in my life. And I want to say, and I said this, hey, you know what? I realized that few months, like I was more on edge and I wasn't the happiest I was always. And I appreciate you sticking by my side and allowing me to feel my feelings and move through it. Again, I was never unkind to anyone, but I'm allowed to feel like I was on, I wasn't being myself. There's a big difference between those two. So to answer your question, I don't feel like you need to be a punching bag to someone. I think you can be there for someone. I think someone can go through a hard time and, they're not as happy as they always are, or they're sad, or they're going through a trial or whatever it may be. But in return to be their punching bag and to just have them treat you unkindly, I don't subscribe to that and I don't agree with that. And when that happens, that's when you give that person the space and you let them heal. You let them do their thing and figure their stuff out because that's not your job. And you don't have the power to figure things out for other people. And you don't have the power to make other things happen for other people and change their emotions. Like you just don't have that type of power. Okay. The next person asked, I need some tips about how not to be offended by my friends. My friends are always making me feel offended and I don't know how to not take things personal so much. They're always telling me to lighten up and not take offense. Well, here's the thing. I don't know the whole backstory because to me, looking from an outside point of view, there's two sides that I see this. The first one is either gaslighting. They're doing things to you and you're expressing yourself in an adult way saying, hey, this hurts my feelings. This makes me feel sad. You're using like me statements or I statements and not you statements. And they're telling you to lighten up or don't take things be so offensive. And that to me is gaslighting, that they're not validating your feelings and they're trying to downplay how you're feeling. So there's that side to it. And when people do that, that's red flag to me and like sayonara. Like, it's just a joke. Calm down. Well, it's not a joke. It's hurting my feelings and I don't like it. So a joke is when two people are laughing and I'm not laughing. So where's the joke, The second thing is there's a good opportunity right here to look at yourself and ask yourself, am I taking things too personal? And I'm going to say this. For a long time, I used to take things personal or be offended because I was not at my state. I was not at my personal best, where I thought that things were all about me and I was not confident in who I was. And I did take things personal. It takes a lot for someone to do something that offends me. And if it is offensive, it's not even offensive for me. It's maybe like hurt my feelings and it takes somebody a lot because I understand the world does not revolve around me. Someone doesn't text me back. They're probably running errands or they read the text and forgot to text me back or they're doing something else. Like they have their own life or somebody cuts me off while driving. They may have not even seen me or they may be rushing to get somewhere. They're late for something. Somebody didn't invite me to something. Well, maybe they're specifically inviting this group of people because they just jive with them more. And I'm okay with that. And so it takes a lot for me to be offended. For me, I don't want to be around people who are always getting offended about everything and who is you always have to walk on eggshells with, and they're always a dark cloud or an energy drainer or someone like that. That's not fun to be around. Those type of people are really heavy. So I think this is a really good opportunity to look at yourself and look at the situations and saying, okay, is it just this one person that's telling me because most likely that could be someone who's just not taking accountability of how they treat other people and could be gaslighting you? Or is it almost every person in your life is telling you that you're always getting offended by stuff? They feel like they're on eggshells. That is a time where you can turn inwards and look at yourself. The next question is, I have a friend who is such an energy taker. I don't know how to handle this. Let me know how you would. All right. I feel like there's a big difference with being there for somebody who's going through a hard time as a friend, or somebody who is just constantly an energy taker. And people in my eyes that are energy takers they focus on the past. They are very messy. They consume social media all the time. They're a dark cloud where they're constantly talking about themselves or what's going on in their life. Somebody who is not aware of other people and what they're going through. Those type of people are very difficult for me to be around. And I like to keep distance and space. People that are energy rechargers to me are somebody who is light and airy and fun, that the relationship has to be easy. The relationship is two-sided. They ask me to do things and I ask them to do things. Somebody who is positive and is full of gratitude. And you see how they operate their life. Do they have a community? Like, how do they operate the relationships in their life? So for me, I look at those type of people, and is it a very consistent thing that they are always thinking about themselves? They're not aware of other people. They show up to parties empty-handed. They don't help clean up. They sit and talk crap about other people. They're just very dark. They're negative. They're energy drainers. Like I don't even mess with that. Like I don't even mess with that. I keep a good distance. But if they are somebody who is actually a good person, they're aware of other people, they're kind, they're giving, they're positive, they're uplifting, and they're just going through a hard time, I don't necessarily see them as an energy drainer, that they're just going through a difficult time. And that's when a friend can step in. The next question is, one tip you would give anyone in the world about relationships. Here is my number one tip I would give anyone about relationships. And this was something I learned and I really have adapted by heart. Nobody cares what you look like, what you drive, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of stuff you have, how much money you make, what your house is. Nobody is going to like you because of that if they are a genuine, true friend. What they care about is how you make them feel when they are around you and when they leave. My main purpose when I meet somebody for the first time is to get to know them and about their life. It's not to show off anything that I think may be cool or that I have or that I can offer. So when I meet somebody, it is an instant known for me if this is going to be a friendship or not, if I'm going to develop something further than a very surface level relationship. And the first thing that comes to my mind where I can indicate this is an interview versus a conversation. If you are the only one asking questions, it's an interview. That is not a conversation. But when you meet somebody and it's a conversation, it means I'm asking questions and answering questions, and you're asking questions and answering questions. I'm sorry, but the easiest thing to do is when someone asks a question is to say, what about you? What about you? What's your favorite color? It's blue. What about you? What's your favorite food? It's Mediterranean food. What about you? Where did you guys meet? We met in Oregon. What about you? What was your childhood like? It was great. What about you? What about you? If someone can't even ask me, what about you? I'm like, oh, I can't. It is so draining. I'll tell you, there's so many times, especially being here in Hawaii, because I am essentially the new kid on the block. I'm meeting everyone for the first time and getting to know everyone. When I walk away, I can instantly tell Kiloni, like, that was the most draining conversation because I just sat for 2 hours asking somebody all these questions about their life and know every detail, but they don't know a single thing about me. But they have left and told Kiloni, like, oh, I love Kat. Like, she's so fun. But they wouldn't be able to tell you a single thing about me because it was an interview. It was an interview. So I think the biggest tip I can give somebody is to make other people feel good. Like, be interested in other people's life, and don't realize like it's not all about you, but also realize like to ask questions, have conversations, and don't have interviews with people. The next question is how do you deal with rejection from friends, family, or other people? Well, let me tell you, I stopped caring what people think. Truly, I am okay with people misunderstanding me, and I'm okay with not knowing what other people think about me. And I want to make one thing clear. I care about other people's thoughts and opinions and them as a human. What is their desires? What do they love? What is their goals in life? Like, I care about them and their opinions as a human. But their thoughts of what they think about me, I truly do not care. You have to let go of the expectation of what other people have about you, because it's none of your business. It's none of your business what people think about you. So with rejection, especially with friends, since I'm in a new place, and with family, is that I don't sweat if me and somebody doesn't vibe, or if they don't like me, or if I'm not their person, because it's none of my business what they think. And I also don't place value in other people's opinions about me, because what they think is not true. Just because someone have an opinion does not make it true. It does not make it facts. There's a difference between, in my brain, when I'm thinking about science and the sky, like the sky is blue, or science with oxygen or water or whatever that is. It's not science and it's not facts what somebody thinks about me. Like, she's too crazy, she's too loud, she's too outgoing, she's too this, she's too that. Like, it's not facts. It's not that. So I know that's easier said than done, but I truly stopped placing value into people's thoughts about me, and rejection honestly is just like a thing of the past with me, and being okay if things don't work out. As far as rejection in life in general, with a job, school, getting the house, whatever it may be, I have found a lot of peace in thinking what's meant to be is supposed to happen. That if I don't get the school, if I don't get the job, if I don't get the house, whatever it may be, it was not meant for me, and it was meant for somebody else. Because what is the thoughts on the other hand? That I should have gotten that I should have done that I should have had that, I should have gotten in there. That doesn't serve me. That doesn't make me feel happy. That doesn't make me feel peaceful. What makes me feel peaceful is the thoughts of that house was not meant for me. That job was not meant for me. That school was not meant for me. That relationship was not meant for me. That person was not meant for me. So I find a lot of value in understanding that whatever you may believe in, whether it's God, the universe, the higher being, your ancestors, your loved ones, whatever it may be, is that they're guiding you, and this person's guiding you, the spirit is guiding you, the universe is guiding you, that was never meant for you, and it was meant for somebody else. And that's okay, because there is something that is meant for you. That is the last of the questions. I hope you guys love this solo episode. It would mean so much to me if you could go and leave a review on Spotify and Apple. Tell me your thoughts about my podcast. What do you want to hear from me? What topics are you looking for? And any guests that you would love to see on my podcast. It means, honestly, the world that you guys sit and you choose to listen to my episode every single week. I understand there's so many podcast episodes out there that you could choose to listen. And I promise, like, it means more to me than you will ever know that you choose to take the time and energy and turn on the Wellmade podcast. Thank you for listening, you guys. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. If you were inspired by today's episode, I encourage you to tag me on social media at Kat Kamalani so I can personally thank you myself. I would love to hear your thoughts on my podcast, so go ahead and leave a review. So high five for finishing the episode and trying to better yourself. I hope you found it informative, inspiring, and thought-provoking. I will see you again soon for another episode. Take care.
This has been a 58 Ember production. For more shows, please visit the 58 Ember channel, 58ember.com, or find us at 58 Ember Media on socials.